Bond. James Bond.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Did we just become best friends?
Yup! Sublime!
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Tear me apart, Lisa!
But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hi dudes, and welcome to another episode of You Haven't Seen That, a movie discussion podcast where we introduce our friend Ben to movies he should have seen a long time ago. I'm your host, Amanda.
I'm Geoff.
And I'm Ben.
And today we are discussing The Big Lebowski. Stick around to the end. We'll be talking about our favorite things about bowling.
The last movie of Amanda hasn't seen that month.
Yes, very true. I forgot to mention that.
That's awesome. The Big Lebowski. Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski, a Los Angeles slacker who only wants to bowl and drink White Russians, is mistaken for another Jeffrey Lebowski, a wheelchair-bound millionaire, and finds himself dragged into a strange series of events involving nihilists, adult film producers, ferrets, errant toes, and large sums of money. Released in March of 1998, the number one song in the United States, My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
Never heard of that one.
Never heard of it. In world news, there wasn't a ton of world news going on at this time. The Oscars were much later and everything, so I found a lot of celebrity news. Biggest one being that Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee got divorced just before this movie after Tommy was arrested for battery charges. And there were a few notable births, but notably, Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert was born on March 10th.
Wow.
Right? Real exciting stuff. I tried, y'all. I tried so hard. This movie is directed by Joel Cohen and written by Joel and Ethan Cohen, the Cohen brothers, as they're commonly known across Hollywood. This movie has a very stacked cast: Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Sam Elliott, Tara Reid, and John Turturro. With a $15 million budget, this movie grossed $48 million. This movie was all right, didn't have a ton of great reception initially. Has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 71 on Metacritic. Pretty good, not necessarily great. But as the years have gone along, this movie has since become a cult classic.
Great, thank you. So, Ben, since you've seen this movie, let's hear your history.
I have. I've only seen it one time. I saw it with two of my friends back, I don't know when it was. I want to say it was like maybe college time, but it's friends from home. That's why it's been friends I've been friends with forever. So that's why I can't like place the time period. I watched it at their house. I remember it's my friends Casey and Livia, a brother and a sister. And we watched it at their house. It was either like end of high school or when we were like on a break from college. But I did remember a decent amount of it for I've only seen it once. And I think part of that is just because I think some of it has kind of entered like the pop culture lexicon. So having seen the movie, I know some of the references and I remembered a lot of the lines when they were coming about.
Great. And what about you, Geoff?
I too have only seen this movie once, and I probably saw it under the most ideal circumstances with a bunch of my friends in college, having a few drinks. I think it was my junior year of college, all in a really kind of crappy frat house, all grouped around a TV watching this movie. So I remember having a lot of fun watching it. It was a good time. Haven't watched it since, weirdly enough. But much like you, Ben, this movie has just entered the pop culture everything. Incredibly gifable movie, memeable movie. And yeah, I was very excited to check this one back out again.
Yeah. So it feels like you did watch it in a very appropriate way.
Mm-hmm. For sure. No White Russians to my knowledge. Just a few, what did he call his Miller Lights at the end of the movie? I can't remember, but that.
Yeah. Not surprised college students weren't making White Russians. So for me, obviously I've never seen it. This is a movie that I've been aware of for a long time, that it exists. Like you guys said, it's, in the pop culture lexicon and everything. So I've been aware of it, but I haven't really had any necessarily strong desire to watch it. So, Geoff, why don't you give us your rating?
Awesome.
I'm very curious about both of your scores for this.
Yeah, I'm curious about Amanda's. So I had an absolute blast with this movie. I like right off the bat that it establishes that this movie is stupid, that the story of this is stupid. The narrator very clearly says at the beginning of the movie, this movie is dumb. This is a stupid journey, but it's one incredible story. And I had a rip-roaring time with it. Laughed the entire way through, thought it was ridiculous. I gave it a 4.25.
And what about you, Ben?
I mean, this movie, I feel like, is 100% a vibes movie. Like, it's not really, the plot doesn't really matter that much. It's all about the performances and the vibes of the movie. And for me, I really like that. At first, it goes on too long for me. So I feel like the first half hour to 45 minutes, I am like all in. And then by the time we get to like the second hour, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like, I get the joke. So it loses it a little bit for me, but I still enjoy large parts of it. I am going to give it a 3.75.
Okay. So for me, I didn't know what this movie was about really, outside of some guy named Dude who wears a sweater. And that was pretty much it. So I didn't know what to expect. And I really liked it. I thought it was funny. And I would kind of agree with you, Ben, that I feel like towards maybe like the back, the third act or so, I was starting to get a little bit like lost in where we were in like the plot and their, everything. But overall, I feel like the more we sat with those characters, the more I understood them and the funnier I thought they got. So I'm giving this a 4.
Nice.
Right in the middle.
We're kind of right. Yeah, we're all in the same ballpark with this one.
We are.
Yeah, definitely.
Good times were had.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just expanding on what I was just saying, I feel like it's not often, I think that like you, at least for me, I started this movie and especially with like, what's his name?
Walter?
Yeah, Walter.
John Goodman's character? Yeah.
Yeah. So with like Walter, like when this movie first started, I was like, what? Who even is this guy? Like, this guy's crazy, whatever. But like by the end, I thought he was very funny. And I felt like I understood why he was saying things and why he was doing things the way that he was doing them. And that was kind of across the board with all the characters. And so I don't know. I appreciated it that it made me like them all more as we went. Because initially I was like, that guy's crazy. He just pulled a gun on someone at the bowling alley. I mean, he's still crazy, but
Iconic. The line about the rules is just, it's the best.
I don't know, man. You can't pull a gun out at a bowling alley.
Nah,
especially not these days.
No, not these days, and especially not during
9/11 though.
Twas. I thought it was an interesting. I thought the movie was an interesting commentary, like that bit, especially with like Walter, was trying to connect some dots because they were talking a lot about, this movie takes place in the 90s, I believe, and so Desert Storm is going on, and Walter had come back from Vietnam, and you see like.
Does he mention that?
I think once or twice, but it's very funny watching his. I didn't want to say like PTSD, but almost like those flashbacks and almost wanting to be back there, like getting more and more intense as the movie was going along. And I thought it was an interesting commentary about like jumping in with, him wanting to be like a soldier and just wanting to try to fix everything and just everything going wrong, just wild stuff with him, especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except for on Saturdays. And he rests.
I feel like the first scene at the bowling alley, like it establishes like the group dynamics between Lebowski and Walter and Donnie. And I feel like then like the dynamics never change.
Never.
Like,
No.
Never
it's
evolve,
literally
never
like
change.
how they stay the entire time.
Absolutely.
Incredible vibes. Yeah, it's so fun watching the dude getting more and more flustered, like even as the movie is going along. Even him like breaking character at times or breaking his cool at times, and nothing changes with the group. Like Walter is still trying to lead the charge and slowly gets more and more intense, and Donnie's just like, what? Only caring about, himself, just off in La La Land and whatever. It's very, very funny.
John Goodman is like dialed up to an 11 this entire movie.
It's insane. I forgot how intense he is in this movie.
Yeah,
It's
and I feel like he's
wild.
done a lot of stuff like that since, but like I wonder how much, because at that point he was best known for Roseanne.
Mm.
And I'm curious, like, if this was, and I didn't do the research to see, but like, was this where people realized he can do this type of performance?
Right. Because this is not his only Coen Brothers movie. He's done a few Coen Brothers movies, and I don't think this is the first either. I forget the actual order. I remember him being in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou later on with the Coen Brothers, and his character is very similar in that case. Same thing with Inside Llewyn Davis. He's in that movie as well, but that character is slightly more dialed back. But if memory serves me right, I believe he's like weirdly traveling with the Llewyn Davis character at one point. And yeah, it's very interesting to see where this movie even falls for all of them in their careers. Like having an ensemble cast like this back in the 90s, even today, like when we look back on it today, it's like, wow, this cast was stacked. I wonder what it was like back in the late 90s looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Bridges and John Goodman were definitely big names then. I feel like maybe less so Steve Buscemi.
So I just took a look through John Goodman's filmography, and he had done some semi-serious work before this, and even some comedic work from the looks of it. Let me filter it down by comedy. But yeah, this definitely seems like a turning point, because this was after the Flintstones, and this was after a couple other Coen Brothers movies like Barton Fink and The Hudsucker Proxy. And this is technically before Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and before Monsters, Inc. So I think this is the starting to really ramp up for him in terms of getting the big time roles. And now he just collects residuals from the Disney everything, which good for him.
Oh, and I'm sure he made a crap ton of money on Roseanne too.
Oh, that too. As someone who never got into Roseanne, I totally forgot that was a thing. Apologies to everybody.
That was definitely what I mean. That's what he was. That's what he was just coming off of when this movie happened.
Right.
He was going to the dark side.
Yeah, he was. So interestingly enough, I had just actually watched, kind of changing the conversation, talking about actors. I wanted to switch the conversations real briefly to Jeff Bridges, because last year I actually watched one of Jeff Bridges' earliest performances, one of his first performances in a movie called The Last Picture Show, directed by Peter Bogdanovich, where he's in like high school or college when he's filming this. He plays a high school student, and he sounds exactly the same in that movie, which came out in 1971, as he does in this movie, which is in 1998. Exact same sound, exact same accent, even similar mannerisms. It's crazy how his style and his brand is just so integrated with a role like this. Now, granted, this is maybe I don't want to say the most iconic role of his career, but it's certainly like noticeable how his style is matched like this character, even from before and afterwards.
I also feel like he is like, in some ways, like just totally embraced this movie in the years since too. Like I feel like when I see him on like an award show or something like that, he's like kind of now like really leaning into the Big Lebowski like persona.
Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's fair. I did think though, like, it's funny you would mention his voice, because when he first started talking, I was like, oh my gosh, he sounds so different than he does now. Not necessarily like the way he speaks, but the tone of his voice. Like, obviously, as he's aged, I think his voice has gotten a little bit deeper and a little bit gruffer. And so I had kind of the opposite reaction of, oh my gosh, his voice is like so young and bright sounding.
That's funny. But I will say, of performances in this movie, I do want to highlight Philip Seymour Hoffman as Jeffrey Lebowski's assistant, Brant. Every time he's on screen, it's incredible. In this movie, his face, his inflections with his voice, the way he says certain words, his hand gestures, just every little detail is so perfect for the role that he is playing. And over the last couple of years, I've done more of a deep dive with Philip Seymour Hoffman movies and watched a lot more, especially because of the history of work he's done with Paul Thomas Anderson and with his movie One Battle After Another coming out last year. I tried to watch a bunch of those movies. He is an amazing actor, from big roles to small roles to character roles to everything. He is so good in every single way. And as soon as I saw him on screen, I was like, it just stood out to me in every way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've only ever seen him in the Hunger Games movies, so I'm not super familiar with him, but I did really like him in this. Like, there were several times where I was like, what is he even doing right now? But like, it felt very appropriate for the character, and it just added like a little extra to the movie. I loved him.
And it makes you wonder how much of this was like their vision for this character and how much was him just doing it this way. Like,
Right.
Yeah. I'd be really curious about that for sure. And it got me thinking about a lot of ways, like, does he know about Jeffrey Lebowski kind of being a fraud? Is he in with Maude? Is he like hired by Maude to kind of keep an eye on things? Like, what's their relationship like? Just so many ways to interpret his character and think about it, that if it was kind of played more straight or just maybe less expressive, you wouldn't care. But it adds another layer to this movie, which is a ridiculous plot, but is so interesting to think about and break down.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
One little small part I love early on in the movie is when they're walking out after meeting the older Jeffrey Lebowski, and Jeff Bridges is like, you know, the old man told me to take any rug in the house. He's carrying this giant rug.
So
good. Funny.
So good. Oh, there were so many good lines in this movie.
I was going to
wrote
ask,
down
like,
so
what's
many
your favorite?
quotes.
I mean, because a lot of them have become famous, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, my favorite is the when they say at the bowling alley, like, we're gonna F you up, and he's like, well, that's just like your opinion, man. I mean, that's one of the more iconic lines from the movie, but I just find it so funny.
My favorite.
I want to use it more in daily life too.
Yes.
Like, a lot of people say things, and I
Absolutely.
just want to be like, well, yeah, well, that's like your opinion, man. I don't think I can pull it off, but I just want to use it in my daily life.
Oh gosh, I would be too scared to use that in normal life. I'd be like, oh my gosh, how is this going to come off to somebody else if I say it, especially in the way that he says it? Like, it would give me so much social anxiety to even try. I love the ones that came up. That one that popped up for me was, I think that is the you think I'm the only one? Am I the only one around here who gives an S about the rules? But I also love the line when they're in the car and the dude goes, "You're not wrong, you're just an a-hole." That one was good too. Yeah, whole bunch of good stuff with this.
Yeah, I don't think there were any lines that I like recognized. You know, it wasn't like oh my gosh, that's from this movie. Now that you guys are like saying a couple, I'm like, okay, like maybe I had heard those before, but I didn't really write anything down. The only thing I wrote down, because I just thought it was so funny, was when Walter said he was, quote, Jewish as effing Tevye.
You would.
Which,
Yeah.
of course, as a theater lover, I found
Oh,
that
yeah.
particularly tickling.
He's a nihilist? Must be exhausting.
I mean, I think probably the most famous line is "The Dude Abides." Is probably
The dude abides. Yep.
the one that has
Mhm.
I think like transcended the.
That's true. I had heard that one before.
I also like, one of the things I do, like, I'm not a big fan of like stoner comedy in general, but one of the things I do like whenever I see a stoner comedy, and it certainly happens here, is like how eloquent they are. like like all the like large words that get used in stoner things, like they're like, it's not the preferred nomenclature, like it's just like the way they kind of talk is always like, I feel like that's such a hallmark of stoner things, is that they just like these philosophical statement kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. A lot of thought, a lot of thinking about things, a lot of ideas, not a lot of action.
Right.
It's like it gets awakened when you take a hit.
So Ben, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think that the writers for The Office got the idea for Scott's Tots from The Big Lebowski?
Oh, wow.
With the
Incredible.
under whatever they were called, the little learners that Philip Seymour Hoffman says that Mr. Lebowski has promised to pay each of their college tuition.
So you know what? I feel like I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm surprised I didn't like think of that connection, but I feel like it seems to me like something the writers would think Michael Scott would be impressed by.
Right.
Like, because he always is doing bits from movies and TV shows.
That's a fair point.
So I feel like it was to say like they thought of the Big Lebowski, they were inspired by the Big Lebowski. I feel like it wasn't even so much that as much as they were like, well, what if Michael watched the Big Lebowski and thought I can do this too, kind of thing. Like I feel like that could have been the thought process.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
As soon as I did that, I was like, it's Scott's Tots. Oh no.
It's like when he plays the different characters and the different bosses. The one day he's being like Devil Wears Prada.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. But the thing here is it maybe is going to end up like Scott's Tots because they lost $1 million from the foundation. So who knows? Maybe those
That's
kids are
true.
not going to go to college.
Yikes.
We'll
That
never
is
know.
crazy. I had forgotten most of the plot points of this movie. I just remembered like the big scenes and everything. I'd forgotten that Jeffrey Lebowski was a fraud and that Maude was in charge of everything, which was very funny to see her in her high-rise art studio go off on philosophical discussions and kind of fitting the vibe of like I don't want to say like a liberal arts hippie portrayal from an LA world or whatever, but it was very, very funny that she's like, I'm the one who's got all the power. I'm the one who controls the foundation. This is whatever. So just absolutely ridiculous.
This might be the time to share this. I don't enjoy Julianne Moore in this movie.
No?
At all. Like I like the idea of the character. I think I would have liked it played by somebody else. I'm just not a fan of the way she plays the character. I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. That's fair. But, that's just your opinion, man. Bam!
Very impressive, Amanda.
That was well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know if it's the way she talks that drives me crazy or what it is. And I was trying to think like what type of actress would I like more in this role? And I had a hard time coming up with it, but it just, for whatever reason, like her character does not work for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting the way that her character is framed. She does come across as very, I guess, like high-minded, if you will, and very, into the arts and into this sort of expression. So the way that she presented herself is what I would think of in someone in her position, someone who came from money, someone who's just like, I'm a creative, you got to let my mind flow kind of vibe. To me, the way that she portrayed the character fit. And I think she's playing it maybe a little more straight than the average person is in this movie. And it is different than some of the other characters are. But I don't know. I personally dug it, but I definitely see where you're coming from, Ben.
Yeah. I'm still trying to think of like what actress, especially of that time period, would I have liked in it. And I feel like maybe like Elisa Kudrow.
Ooh.
Like a Friends era Elisa Kudrow. I could have enjoyed
that would be
part.
interesting.
To try and get like the point of what I'm trying to say as far as like the type. I don't know. Like
it almost kind of fit the comedy vibe more if you had the Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah. And I'm kind of mixed on Julianne Moore in general and things I've seen her in, but I don't know, something about this, it just like, I feel like I don't know, it doesn't really land for me. The comedy in her scenes, I feel like they go on, I think it's also when the movie starts getting more plot heavy is when I start being less interested too. So, and then she's so integral to the plot as opposed to just the vibes, because I feel like John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, are not that important to the plot at all.
Right. Everything's anchored on the dude and they're just
messing around. And I like those things more than when they're actually following the plot.
Yeah, that's fair.
With the exception of Philip Seymour Hoffman, who is also integral to the plot.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that character, but I don't know if it's the character or her that I didn't care for. But there was something, I understand what you're saying, Ben. There was something there that just didn't totally work. And again, I'm not sure which part of the puzzle it was, but kind of like what you were saying with the plot and what I mentioned earlier. So, like I mentioned earlier about the plot, I feel like there were definitely times in this where it just lost me. We were going back and forth between so many different people, and this person's after the wife, this person's after the wife, this person wants Bunny, this person wants, it was just going, but it didn't feel like we were getting any closer to any sort of resolution to all of this coming together. And so there was definitely a point where I was like, what is even happening anymore? I'm so confused. And I feel like I couldn't even, I know it, and then it also just kind of felt a little bit like a letdown, because they were just oh, okay, she wasn't really kidnapped, the end, and even the dude told that guy oh yeah, man, she's not kidnapped, okay, bye, we're done with that. And then just moved on.
Right. Also, the money just ending up with this kid. Maybe
if he actually had it, but there was no money.
That's fair. Oh, that's right.
The suitcase was
that's right. The
empty,
suitcase was
supposedly,
empty.
As long as their theory was correct. Right. No one
no
ever
one has the money.
Confirmed that Walter and the dude's theory about everything that happened was actually right.
That's fair. That's a good point.
So it's none of it mattered.
Your point about the plot, Amanda, I made a note that when we get to Jackie Treehorn's house, I was like, look up who Jackie Treehorn was again. And then as they were talking, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He had the goons come by his house and pee on his rug. I was like, oh yeah, that guy. So I get what you're saying for sure. I think when it got to the point when it was getting a lot of different layers were falling on top of it, I remembered what the narrator said at the beginning about how this is basically just a stupid turn of events. And I'm like, you know what, Geoff? Just enjoy the ride. Just let it. Don't try to think too hard about it. The dude wouldn't want you to think too hard about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is always interesting, I feel like, and I feel like there's a lot of movies and TV shows that struggle with this sometimes, which is when you're wanting to coast on vibes and not really make the plot super important, but then the plot does get kind of convoluted. It's hard to necessarily reconcile that, because you do need to propel it forward. It's not a hangout sitcom. You do need to have some narrative momentum, especially in a 2-hour movie, but it's hard when that doesn't seem to be what they're primarily interested in.
Right. Yeah. For sure. Especially with this movie where there are hangout movies. There are very successful just hangout movies. And this movie almost does want you to think about it as a hangout movie, because that's just the way the dude is. But yeah, when the plot captures you so effectively there at the beginning through the first act and a half, 2 acts of this movie, when you want to know what's happening, when you want to know what's going on, it's I don't want this to be a hangout movie. I want this to be
and they do set up the plot well.
Right.
The mystery well, yeah.
Yeah. And they get right into it.
They do. Within the first few minutes, he is, surprised at home and everything. I'm like, my gosh, we're jumping right into this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
What are your thoughts on the trippy dream sequency kind of scenes, the flying and the Saddam at the bowling alley? Sorry, Saddam.
They were fine.
Yeah, I like it. It makes a lot of sense in terms of oh, this is where he would go if he was knocked out or whatever. Now, granted, I was half expecting those sequences to be in something more of a, as he does in his recreational time. I wrote down this quote. What does he do? He bowls, drives around, and has the occasional acid flashback. That's what I was thinking would happen. It's oh, he goes on some acid trip, not he gets knocked out unconscious.
Right.
And this is where his mind goes. So I thought it was a very interesting application of that, given the movie and the characters involved. But yeah, I thought they were fun. Interesting.
Yeah. I think they were appropriate for the
Mhm.
kind of movie that it is. I typically don't tend to really like love drug hallucination sequences. There are a few here and there that are, that stand out and are very funny. So I will admit I kind of spaced out a little bit on these. I was like, oh, okay, like I don't really know what's happening here. It's just some sort of trip, like whatever. And then I was like, okay, now we're back.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way, Amanda.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that.
I know it sounds like me to be super into stoner stuff, but surprisingly, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know where my mind goes. I feel like I've never been knocked out unconscious by a punch before, so I would not speak to where my mind goes in those kind of moments. But when I'm dreaming, I'm not dreaming things like that. They're a little more realistic. So I know we had a whole conversation about dreams when we were doing Inception, but yeah, my mind does not go to those kind of places when I dream or am asleep.
No.
And I think it goes with like how I don't want to hear about people's dreams. I also don't tend to like to watch them.
I feel like if I could watch people's dreams while they were telling me about them, maybe it would be slightly more interesting.
I guess that's true. Maybe they'd be more interesting.
Also, the like side plot about Maud wanting to conceive was just so weird. About her sending the dude to the doctor to have his junk checked out and subsequently like sleeping with him. I was like, I don't understand what is happening here.
I mean, I know at one point she talked about how feminists like sex. At one point, I remember catching that detail and the dude being like, what? It's very typical kind of guy portrayal in the 90s about, woman speaking about sex and private parts and everything, and him being like, oh, or whatever. But so she kind of is leading on by that. But yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
That baby would be almost 30 now.
Don't remind me. I'm old.
And people played by Timothy Chalamet. No,
okay. Oh my gosh. Speaking of people breaking into the dude's house, him setting up the little wooden beam to stop his door from being open only for it to be a pull door and not a push door, genuinely hysterical. Amazing.
Oh, and then he tripped on it later.
And he trips on it. Yep. This is so good.
Also, those guys like the nihilist throwing the ferret into the bathtub. I was like, I don't. Again, ferret. I'm like, what bad guys have like a ferret as their like animal?
Honestly, it could just be their pet. I know people have pet ferrets.
It's true. And
that's a thing.
I mean,
they are like quirky people have pet ferrets, I think.
That's fair.
I mean, yes, I've just never thought of a ferret as like a quote unquote like attack animal that you would sick on someone that you're trying to like get revenge on.
Ferrets are kind of mean, I'm pretty sure.
And they can be for sure. And I mean, especially if you just dump them in bathwater, I'm sure they're not the nicest, but it's just a very interesting choice.
Excuse you, it was a marmot, not a ferret.
Marmot, that is true.
That is what
it definitely was not a marmot.
It's not a marmot. It's definitely a ferret, but it's very funny.
I looked up pictures of what marmots look like, and that was definitely a ferret. Marmots were more like beavery looking.
Yeah, that's what a marmot looks like. Great podcasting stuff.
Oh,
right now,
always do it again.
They are like big and chonky.
Yeah, they are.
That thing was slender and long.
Yeah, it was definitely a ferret.
It definitely was more like a ferret.
It was definitely a ferret.
Yeah, for sure.
Kept on a leash and everything.
I didn't know if like it was one of those things where they were like kind of related, but at least according to Google, a marmot is like a squirrel rodent and a ferret is a weasel.
Ah.
And then it says ferrets are smaller, slinky, and kept as pets, though both are sometimes confused, like in the Big Lebowski.
I love that that's the example they used.
That's amazing.
But you're right. It was originally a ferret. Or, I mean, sorry, it was a marmot. It was apparently supposed to be a ferret or sorry, it was a ferret, was supposed to be a marmot.
A marmot.
The ferret was
Okay.
swapped in once the Coen brothers realized that the marmot would be too large. But they never changed the line.
I was gonna say they didn't change the script.
Which
Maybe
makes it funnier because
intentionally.
they're
Maybe
like
intentionally.
that's the thing is I think like, oh, they're German, like they don't know specific words in the English language or what have you. Like, yeah, it's just
Right.
it's a creature.
And just in case you're wondering what my source is, it's the Big Lebowski.
That's incredible.
I was wondering if like ChatGPT or Google Gemini generated that response for you about the confusion between marmots and
No,
ferrets.
no, that part was
very
that was Google Gemini, the first part.
No way.
But then I clicked on another thing, and that's where I found out about them originally wanting to use a marmot, and that's from the Big Lebowski.
Okay.
But the part where it said like in the Big Lebowski was from Google Gemini, probably because it hears us talking about it right now.
It's like, we know why you're looking this up. Oh my goodness.
We should have done our top 4 rodents.
Number 1,
like
marmot,
you-
not to be confused with ferret.
I feel like it would be very similar to our. Didn't we do a snake draft or something? And we were all
Birds.
like,
Well, we did birds.
Oh,
but
was it for
Archie,
Harry
like,
Potter?
real birds.
Oh yeah, the birds.
Yeah.
That's right.
birds, but I thought we did snakes for Harry Potter.
Did we? I don't think so.
We did reptiles. Our favorite reptiles.
We did
That's
reptiles.
right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all of us were like, we don't really like reptiles. We don't have any
fair.
favorites.
That's fair.
Right. Exactly.
Oh man. I will say it felt very nice at the end to finally see Walter get some action going against the nihilists in the parking lot. I was like, oh yes, okay. He's been jonesing for action this entire movie, trying to come up with all these different schemes to like get into something, and it's like he finally gets to beat someone up. I love
Finally.
it.
It was a very entertaining fight scene too. I
Oh,
was very happy with it. Minus Donnie dying. R.I.P.
yeah, poor Donnie.
Poor Donnie.
Donnie takes a beating, but I feel like a lot of people have a Donnie in their group of friends.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Who's the Donnie in our group of friends?
No, but have you ever heard the expression of like, if you don't know who the Karen is in your group of friends, you're the Karen?
Yep.
Maybe that's the Donnie too.
But we were all just gonna ask if we're all the Donnies. I don't know.
I feel like I have potential to be the Donnie in our group.
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
What were you gonna say before, Jeff?
I was going to mention, as we were going through this cast, it's insane how stacked it is. I was so caught off guard when Tara Reid showed up on screen. I was like,
Tara
oh my
Reid.
gosh.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Classic.
That
Our-
was insane.
insane. Our second Tara Reid movie on the podcast.
That's right.
What was the first one?
American Pie.
Oh, duh. Yeah, I forgot we watched that. Yeah, literally when she came on screen, I was like, wait, what year was this movie made? I'm so confused.
This
Like,
is
why
early
is Tara Reid?
Early Tara Reid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
early Tara Reid. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very confused, but I will say I'm very happy she had a very small part.
You're not a big Tara Reid fan?
Do you know anyone who is?
No.
I will say, perfectly cast for the kind of role that she's playing.
Yes. I don't mind her in American Pie, but most everything else I've ever seen her in, I don't care for her.
And this is her second feature length movie,
Oh, there you go.
like very early in her career. So there you go.
Yeah. Also some good music.
Great music.
hmm
Mhm.
The dude listens to some amazing stuff. That's one thing I did want to call out was the stuff that we hear him listening to, or he mentions that he listens to. We see him listening on his Walkman in his house to bowling alley sounds of people throwing bowling balls down lanes and them hitting pins. He listens to recordings of that. There's another case where he is listening to, oh goodness, where is it? Oh, like whale sounds.
Whale sounds.
Yeah, whale sounds. He's got Creedence tapes in his car. Just he's got a lot going. I man of interesting tastes. Well, the Creedence I can understand, but the whale sounds not so much.
They bring inner peace, man.
That's fair. That's a good point.
I don't know.
I also found it funny that the dude is the only person we don't see bowling, of the notable bowlers. We see
True.
Donnie bowling, we see Jesus bowling, we see Ronnie bowling, we see Walter do one bowling shot at one point, but we never see the dude bowl.
He's just there for the vibes.
Just there for the vibes. Does he actually put on bowling shoes when he goes onto the lane? Or is he wearing his, as Amanda called them, jelly sandals?
No, he puts on bowling shoes because I wrote down a note about how he put the bowling shoes on with no socks on.
Ah,
Disgusting.
Psycho. I literally wrote no socks to bowl. So he definitely puts them on at some point. But that's a good note. I hadn't noticed that.
yeah. Very crazy.
There's a whole Reddit thread about it because someone says, I noticed the dude never actually bowls. And someone replies that he bowls in the dream sequence when he does the windmill with Maud.
Oh, you're right.
And then the guy who originally posted replied, that's just like your opinion, man.
Touche. Fine. No bowling in real life from the dude.
But did he technically throw the ball? I mean,
That's
she
fair.
was holding the ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He was just guiding her.
Fair.
No, you're throwing your hand overhand, sweetie. It's underhand.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, does anyone have any final thoughts?
I just, as I'm going to do some more exploring on this later, but the Big Lebowski, the Lebowski Reddit subreddit is full of people talking like him all the time.
Shocking.
I'm so surprised.
The last thing I wanted to call it was the Larry Sellers scene. Kind of a throwaway scene, but just absolutely incredible. When they show up pretending to be cops and his mom is just like, oh yeah, come on in, or caretaker or whoever, just like, yeah, come on in the house. And the guys, this dad is on the iron lung. It's like, it's an honor to meet you, sir. Oh, so good. And the kid being so just stone face. I'm not sure. It was one of those cases where I'm like, given the paper and the grade situation, I don't know whether he was actually playing tough or if he just like couldn't understand a thing. It was just like, what's happening right now? Incredible stuff. And then the freak out on the Corvette, just amazing. Amazing.
He probably was like, because if there was really no money in there, he was probably like, what are you guys talking about?
I'm forgetting that there was no money in there.
You keep forgetting that detail.
I keep forgetting that very important detail.
Yeah. But then again, I don't remember if Walter and the dude were saying, like, where's the briefcase or where's the bunny? Or were they saying both? I don't know. But if they were saying the money, then I can see why the kid was confused.
One last thing. I think this movie is a very interesting commentary as well. I know I mentioned a little bit on Walter back at the beginning. I think it's a very interesting commentary. I noted about the rich kind of using the poor for work, kind of that example of capitalism and taking advantage of those in more desperate situations. The idea of Walter getting involved and then messing everything up is commentary potentially about military intervention, and especially with him being a Vietnam vet and the history of what happened in Vietnam. A little interesting commentary there. And then all kinds of jump-ins around like nihilism or pacifism or things like that. A very interesting movie to think about. And it does tie in nicely with kind of the high mind community of Los Angeles and that sort of overthinky sort of world. So yeah, for it being a stoner comedy and a quote unquote stupid movie, I thought it was very, very interesting and explored a lot of cool topics, and one that I really, really dug.
Yeah. I didn't know this was a stoner movie. Like going into it, I had no idea. Thought it was like legit, not stoner.
Even though you knew it was all about the dude?
Well, no, I just knew like Jeff Bridges was a character called the Dude.
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
And I like knew what he looked like his sweater and stuff. But I didn't know that it was a stoner movie.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move into recommendations, and we'll switch it up this week. Ben, why don't you give us your TV recommendations first?
Wow, Ben gets to go first.
Wow.
I have two. One of them is if you like John Goodman dialed up to an 11, you might enjoy The Righteous Gemstones.
Yes.
Which we've talked about.
Yes. Was hoping you were going to use this.
Which is another pretty outrageous John Goodman performance. But there's one that is a very obvious comp for me, and it's a recent show, which was on my top 10, The Lowdown.
Yep.
Which is 100% inspired. It has to be by this movie to some degree. There isn't as much of the stoner side of it, but Ethan Hawke is playing a very much of a Geoff Lebowski type character. I prefer The Lowdown to The Big Lebowski. It just recently got renewed for season 2, which I'm super excited about.
Oh, that's exciting.
Because it doesn't feel like it's been very well watched, but it also is very much a vibe show, but it does have a mystery going through the season. Highly recommend it to anybody who likes this movie or likes Ethan Hawke or likes really good, just good TV, because it's a great show.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you. And Geoff, what are your movie recs this week?
So for my 3 movie recs, number 1, Burn After Reading. Had to pick a Coen Brothers movie, and I thought I would pick a movie. It's weirdly enough, The Big Lebowski isn't the only movie about a main character who gets thrown into a situation that is far greater than anything they could ever think of and totally catches them off guard. Burn After Reading is a great example of that. I think you could also probably say the same for more recent movies like Hail Caesar, but I like Burn After Reading more. It stars Frances McDormand. It has Brad Pitt, George Clooney, John Malkovich, J.K. Simmons. Ridiculous movie, and kind of takes on this idea and puts it in a more serious light, especially with like government conspiracies and stuff. So fun movie there to check out. Number 2, had to pick a vibes movie, stoner movie. So I went with Dazed and Confused. Could also use Everybody Wants Some, falling under the Richard Linklater universe. Shout out to one of Ben's top 10 movies from 2025, Blue Moon. So
Starring Ethan Hawke.
This movie, absolute blast, great vibes movie for sure. And much like that, a movie about nothing per se, but the plot is far less serious than even something like this. So good vibes movie, good hangout movie. And then the last one is a comedy where a group of people get thrown into another comedy where a group of people get thrown into a situation that we are not expecting, and it just escalates and escalates to the point of ridiculousness. Game Night.
Amanda, have you seen that?
No, never. Not 20 times.
So yeah, I would throw Game Night in that list as well. I think the vibes, it's a semi-serious comedy, and it gets crazy with abductions and everything, and it's not really a stoner comedy by any stretch, but I think in terms of the ridiculousness of the comedy and the tie-ins to some sort of real world themes as well, I think that Game Night would be a great addition to throw into the Big Lebowski recommended viewing.
Perfect. Good list. Okie dokie, man, dudes. Let's roll into our top 4 for the evening.
Wow.
Wow. Amanda with the transitions tonight.
Jeez, you're cooking.
So good. Okay, so we're going to be doing our top 4 favorite things about bowling, obviously in honor of the beloved sport of the dude and Walter and Donnie and Jesus. So, Ben, why don't you start us off?
All right. Well, I'm one of those guys who, enjoys going bowling when people invite me to go, but it's not like, I don't know, it's just is what it is. It's like one of those, like, someone's like, hey, want to go bowling? I'll be like, sure. But I'm not one who's like big into doing it all the time or anything.
Yeah.
But I always have a good time when I go.
Always a time and a place.
Yeah. So my number 4 is just the satisfaction when you do well, which is real hit and miss for me. I'm not great, but like, when you like just get it right down and you get the I think sometimes a spare is even more satisfying than a strike in some ways, because you feel like you're gonna, not necessarily get it, and then you do, especially if it's a trickier one. So just kind of the self-satisfaction. Amanda and Geoff might recall that I enjoy bowing after I do a good bowl, which
As
everybody
one should.
loves. Everybody loves that. All right, my number 3, glow bowling.
Nice.
Fun
Slow
vibes.
bowling.
Speaking of vibes, it's fun vibes.
There was
a place near where I went to college that would do glow bowling, and we'd go sometimes on the weekend, and it's a good time. My number 2 is changing people's names on the bowling screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is, just my favorite thing to do when they are up taking their turn is to change their name. It's a joke that just keeps giving and never ends. And then my number one is kind of like the ambiance / the throwback feel of it. And this probably isn't true at all bowling alleys, but at least our local one, it feels like you step back in time when you go in there.
Mhm.
And at least our bowling alley has not changed much at all since the 90s. And I think a lot of bowling alleys are that way, to be honest. I don't think it's limited to our one. I think a lot of small town bowling alleys probably have that similar thing to them. But I just feel like it's, between the food and the arcade and I don't know, just the whole vibe of it, it has a very much a throwback feel in general. A lot of bowling alleys I've been to, and I think I like the feel of that when you go there. It makes it feel like it's the 90s again, and that's always a fun thing.
Yep.
Agreed. But I will say, sadly, there's not really many bowling alleys like that near us.
Oh, I'd believe
I'm
that.
sure, is not
yeah.
surprising, but
Yeah.
they're all very fancy
Sleek
and very
and modern.
expensive.
Very
Yeah,
expensive.
I'd believe that.
Yeah.
But I bet if you were to go around rural areas, you'd see a ton that are similar to this one.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, there's one in the town that we used to live in that's right next to the what's it
Is it
called?
the Moose Lodge?
No, it's not the Moose Lodge, but it's very similar to that. What's that called? Name some of the other clubs, Ben.
Give me a second.
But the national
Elks,
ones.
the Elks.
No, not that.
I
don't know. Anyways, it's right next to one of those clubs, and it's this feels right. Yeah, it's like an old bowling alley right next to a club, and you're like, okay, that feels right. All right, Geoff, let's hear your list.
All right, my list. Number 4, birthday parties. Everyone had at least went to one birthday party a year at a bowling alley. It was always great. Kind of okay pizza. Got to bowl as much as you wanted. It was great. Had a blast.
Pizza's very okay at all bowling alleys, I feel like.
Always, but guess what? It tasted great then.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Number 3 is finding the perfect bowling ball. You go through the list and you try to weigh it in your hands and you try to get the right fit. It takes a while to figure it out, but when you find it and you find it just right, one that's not too light, one that's not too heavy, one that's just right for your fingers, it is perfect. And it brings so much joy, and it makes you feel like it does remove the excuse when you do crappy, aka when I do crappy, that the ball was way too whatever. I don't have that excuse anymore. But the feeling of finding one though is always great.
Yeah,
Number
and
2,
then when someone takes your ball,
yes,
and then you have to stand there and wait and hold up the game because you have to wait for it to go back through the rotation.
This is true. That is always a problem. Number 2, this wasn't things we don't like about bowling.
I know. I'm just
get that out of your brain. Number 2 is throwing a strike. Much like you said, Ben, when the satisfaction of doing something. I'm very bad at bowling, so whenever I do anything like throw a strike or a spare, it is the greatest feeling. I feel so happy. And then number 1 is the Pete Weber bowling meltdown. Who do you think you are? I am. Damn it right. Very famous clip on ESPN of professional bowler Pete Weber losing his mind after winning a tournament on a strike. He needed a strike to win, and he melts down and goes, "Yes, damn it. Yes, that is why I did it. I never thought. Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am." Legendary. So
I think
everyone
we should add in, along with that's just your opinion, man. You should just start throwing that into conversation. You win a game, win a board game.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Fun. I've never heard of that.
All right. Well, you're getting sent it after this, Amanda.
Great. All right. So you guys didn't have any honorable mentions. I have some honorable mentions.
Nice. I think I only had
Amanda
one.
just loves bowling so much.
I only had one, and that was the videos for strikes and spares that play. That was my one honorable mention.
That's right. Okay, so as a disclaimer, like I said, we have really expensive bowling alleys here. So when I speak of bowling, I'm speaking of my youth. I'm speaking of college and high school and middle school. And I'm speaking of the very specific bowling alley that Ben was talking about. Well, one of the bowling alleys Ben was talking about. And I'm speaking about that one specifically. So, my first honorable mention, similar to Geoff, is the little animations that they play. Because what's better than just standing there and being like, oh, let me watch this little pin guy do this thing. And I've seen this, how many times over my life, but it never gets old. It's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then my
It's the
second
same animation always has been.
Always has been.
Like, I'm not down with the bowling alleys these days with like the TV. Like, I don't want to watch TV while I'm bowling.
Right.
I want to look at the score. I want to see what Ben changed someone's name to. And I want to watch the little animation. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
My second honorable mention had to be an honorable mention because it's not like real bowling, but definitely Wii bowling. That was like by far my favorite of the Wii sports was Wii bowling. So
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah. My number 4 is the arcade at the bowling alley, because definitely spent many an hour killing time in the arcade before or after, waiting to get picked up, waiting for a game to start, etc., playing the arcade games. My number 3, okay, so Ben, you called it glow bowling. I don't remember what it was called at our bowling alley. Jacob and Nathan, I know you're listening. I know you remember this. Please comment and tell me what it was called. It was very specific. If school was closed on Monday, they did special night bowling on Sunday nights. And it was like glow bowling, where they like turned all the lights down and everything glowed. I want to say it was called cosmic bowling, but that also doesn't feel 100% right.
Yeah,
So,
I do know what you're talking about, but I don't know what.
Yeah, it was a very special event. And so it always felt incredible to be able to go bowling on a Sunday night. There were always so many kids there. It was basically like going to school. You would see everyone there. But yes, Nathan and Jacob, please comment and tell me what it's called, because I know you remember. My number 2 is cheap entertainment. Like, even obviously I haven't been bowling too much as like an adult with my own money, but like from what I remember, you could rent shoes for a couple bucks. The games were a couple bucks. All the food there was really cheap. The drinks, everything was just insanely cheap. And you could, stay there and entertain yourself for a couple of hours and not spend that much money. So that was definitely like a good way to spend time in college if you wanted to get out and do something. And then my number 1 is the vibes, man. Like,
Yeah,
you can't beat it. Like, the smell when you walk in there, that's like a combination of smoke, even though it's probably non-smoking nowadays, but like the combination smell of like smoke and feet and alcohol. And just like, that's incredible.
All your favorite smells.
But it somehow works. I don't know. And then
Amanda, was it Rock and Bowl?
Maybe. Oh, maybe.
I was searching something and I saw that an old Facebook post that said Rock and Bowl is happening Sunday night.
That might be it. I'm still going to need them to confirm. I know they remember this information. Okay. They're sponges. They remember everything.
They are.
But yes, the vibes. Just immaculate. I mean, I have so much nostalgia for just picturing walking into that bowling alley. There was like that little cubby place where you're supposed to put your shoes, and there would just be like piles of people's shoes just thrown everywhere. The bar where the quote unquote sad people drink. I'm looking at you, Ben, who wouldn't let me go drinking there on my birthday one year.
Yeah, because it's sad.
It's not sad. And I really wanted to go to the bowling alley. Going into the bathroom and having a dispenser where they have condoms. Like, you can't beat the vibes of a bowling alley. The little chairs that kind of spin out and spin back in.
Yeah, which are surprisingly comfortable.
Yeah, love those chairs. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I love the vibes.
Could it be moonlight bowling?
No.
Okay, because
I also saw that online. It's not that.
All right. I'll stop.
Rock and Bull might be right.
Yeah.
Might be right. Thank you for your investigative skills.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, that brings us to an end on the Big Lebowski episode. I thought that was fun. I enjoyed talking about this one.
Yeah, let's go bowling.
Yeah, right?
Let's do Walter and just go bowling.
Sure. So our next episode, we are going to be starting our Best Picture month. So for the whole month, we're going to be doing movies that have won the Best Picture award at the Oscars. And we'll be starting off with The Sting. So if you would like to watch along with us, be sure to watch that and tune in. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a rating or review and follow us on all our social channels. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
To infinity and beyond!
Why so serious?
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.